welcome to my kitchen. My name is Sherry and we are just a day or two away from Mardi Gras. So I thought it would be perfect day to make jambalaya, which I haven't made in several years, so I kind of forgot how to do it. So you have to bear with me today. But I'm gonna get it started with some shrimp here. Now I have jumbo shrimp. They have been deveined, but the tail and the shell are still on. So I'm just gonna start and let's move this over here. We're gonna pull the tail off, We're gonna pull the tail and the shell. So I'm putting the tail in the shell. I can't say it. You know, I'm gonna put this in this bowl and I'm gonna put the shrimp in this bowl. So I'm just gonna finish with these here. Okay, so I'm done with my shrimp, and you may have been wondering why I put the shrimp in one bowl and I put the tails and the shells, if I can say it now, in another bowl. And that's because I'm going to use these to actually make some shrimp stock, and that is going to give our jambalaya a lot of flavor. So I'm going to take the water that the shrimp were already in, and I'm going to measure that out. I'm going to need about 4 cups. I'm going to add these to my pot here. Whoops, a little bit of a mess there. So that's 2 cups. I'm going to move this where you guys can see what I'm doing here. Pull this over here. I'm going to put this on our burner. I need 2 more cups of water. And then I'm just going to throw the shells and the tails back in there. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cover this and I'm going to bring it up to a boil, and then I'm going to let it sit for about 15-20 minutes. You can let it sit longer if you need to, and then we'll be ready to start assembling our jambalaya. All right, our shrimp stock is done, but before we pour that in the pot, the next thing we want to do is get a couple of tablespoons of oil and toss it into a large pot. And then I'm going to take a couple of paper towels and I'm just going to go up the sides of my pot and kind of oil it. And then there'll be a little bit left over, and that's fine. This is going to help our rice to keep from sticking. Now, let's set this aside, and we'll grab our shrimp stock. Move our pan over here. Okay, so I'm just going to strain this out so that I don't have any shrimp shells in here. All right, and then to our shrimp stock, we're going to add a pound of sausage. And I saved the wrapper because I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'll show you what I got. And it's not quite a pound either. It's about 14 ounces. But I don't know if it's andouille. I don't know how you say it. Anyway, the only one they had at Walmart was one made by Johnsonville, so that's what I grabbed. And that's what we're putting in there. So there's our sausage. Next thing I'm going to add is a whole green pepper that's been chopped. And 2 ribs of celery that have been chopped. And there's about an onion and a half in there. So I usually use about an onion, but I had a half of one I needed to use up. So I put that in there. And I need a garlic press. Okay, so I'm going to put in about 3 cloves of garlic. There's 1, 2, and I got a little one in here, so I got 3.5 here. And there we have it. So I'm going to give this a stir, and we're going to let this cook for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and add the rest of our ingredients. All right, so this has been cooking away for about 4 or 5 minutes. The next thing I'm going to add is a can of diced tomatoes with green chili. So your Southwest tomatoes or Rotel tomatoes, as they call them. Then I've got a half a cup of barbecue sauce I'm going to add in. I've got a couple of teaspoons of fresh thyme and a couple of teaspoons of fresh parsley, excuse me. And if all you have is the dried on hand, of course you can use that as well. I'm going to throw in a little bit of cayenne pepper, maybe half a teaspoon or so, and just a couple of red pepper flakes. Wrong side, we don't want that side. We have way too many. There we go. And 3 bay leaves. So I'm going to give this a good stir, and then we're going to let this cook again. We're going to let it cook for about 7 or 8 minutes. All right, our 25 minutes is up, so the only thing we have left to add into here is our shrimp. So I'm going to give this a good stir. I'm going to throw in my shrimp, and then we're going to let this cook for about 5 to 7 minutes, just until our shrimp are done. And one other thing I decided to add in last minute is I decided to add in a can of red beans. So this is totally optional. And you know, the other thing, speaking of optional, if you wanted to use chicken or a different type of sausage, feel free. All right, so I'm going to give this a good stir. So about 5 to 7 minutes and we'll be ready to eat. Oh my goodness, look at this. Doesn't this look delicious? I wish you could smell that. It smells so good. It's been so long since I made this. So our shrimp is cooked perfectly, and I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat off. I don't want to overcook my shrimp, but I'm looking for my bay leaves. I think they disappeared on me. I want to pull my bay leaves out. Maybe I'll just have to do it as I serve it because I'm not seeing them, but I know they're in here. They're in here somewhere. Oh, there's one. Ooh, that's hot. There's two. And there's one more. All right, I guess we'll just have to find that other bay leaf later. I'm hungry. Oh, this smells so good. So I'm just going to top this with some green onions, and we are good to go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Let's give it a taste. Really hot. I need a piece of shrimp or a piece of sausage. A piece of sausage would be good. Oh my goodness, that is so good. I haven't made it, so it's so good. So, so good. It's warm, it's hearty, it's spicy. It has so many things going on in here. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how good this is. So if you can't make it down to the French Quarter this year, make this recipe instead. I promise, like, you will not think you're missing anything, except for maybe a drink, which reminds me, check out my other two Mardi Gras inspired videos. One is for a parade time cocktail, and the other one is a really pretty, it's a tri-colored Mardi Gras cake log. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Jill, for suggesting this. I will see you next time. Bye.